We don't really think about this, but sound plays a big role in our life. It affects your body in 4 different ways. How does it affect your body? By how you think. So if you're in an environment that's very loud and very distracting, it will make it hard for you to do the work that you need to be able to do. I listen to nature sounds when I'm writing notes for these videos to stop the distractions and stop myself from losing concentration. It affects how you're feeling, and my mind instantly jumps to music. For instance, if you're playing an upbeat song, you will feel more upbeat, more happier, even have more energy. The sound of water or rain will actually calm you down and put you in that state of being calm. Next would be your heart rate, and my mind instantly jumps to being in a nightclub. Everyone's screaming, the music blasting. It instantly puts your heart rate up to get you into that mood of dancing. And lastly, sound affects your behaviour. If you're in an arena watching a football game and the other team's chanting some shit at you or your team, it will instantly make you want to chant shit back to them. It will make you act more aggressively, and this is how it'll change your behaviour. Or if you go to the gym with your gym partner and he's shouting, "Come on, you pussy, you got it!" then it's going to make you change and smash that PR. If that is your PR, you're hitting a deadlift, it will make you prove and act differently to achieve that goal. The topic of this video is how to speak so people will hear you. We feel more fulfilled and worthy when we are listened to. But to get people to listen to you, you need to be able to talk in a way people don't get bored, saying less ums, likes, you know. If you want to motivate people, you want to be more high energy, put emphasis on words, use silence for people to take in what you've just said. Being able to speak is a skill, and it's not taught in schools or universities, but it's something we use every day without even being conscious of. And being conscious of how you speak is a great way to improve how you talk. If I use words like power, and I'm not saying it with much energy, or I say it in a high-pitched voice, like power, and I start speaking like this, it'll get annoying and you won't really want to listen to me for long. You won't get that power in how I'm saying it. You won't get that feeling. Storytelling is another way you can get people to listen. Everyone loves a story. You can just sit back and relax and to listen to that person that's telling a story, especially if you can relate and put emphasis on words and tell it in an exciting and emotional way. You get that authenticity and that connection behind that story. And it's just like me telling my journey on being fat to skinny fat to fit. And I tell you about the struggles I went through, my low days, and I start speaking a bit slower, and I look down in shame because of the way I look. Or my high days where I'm like really excited and I'm enthusiastic, and I tell you how I changed my life around. You will get a deeper understanding, connection and authenticity through that, especially if you relate to my story in some sort of way. Another way is beginning the story and in between, that little in between where you go on to give them some bit of knowledge that you learnt, and then you end up finishing the story. That little in-between bit where you're giving them that bit of knowledge, they're more inclined to listen to that boring little bit to get to the end part of the story, and they'll take in that knowledge a lot more, because what you're doing is creating a cliffhanger and they are more inclined to listen to the end of the story. It's just like if you watch a film on Netflix or put a film on. If you're enjoying the film, you're not going to just stop watching it halfway through. You want to know. It creates curiosity. It hooks you and makes you want to listen to me, especially if it resonates with you. Another way is changing how you say things or rephrasing. During conflict, I tend to shut off and not listen at all. Like during school, a teacher was shouting at me, I would tend to just not listen at all. If someone's attacking you with hate, making fun of you, you'd be more on the defensive side. But if I come at you with a more empathetic way of saying things, I see you're struggling at the minute, but can we talk about this? Or I have a problem, can we speak about it? in that way, you are more inclined to listen what I have to say. If I come at you on the attack, you go more defensive and you won't want to listen to what I'm saying. Your blood will boil, you get angry, aggressive, and whatever they're saying won't really go in. Anyone can read a script, if you are given a script, you can read it word for word easily. But it's getting your personality, your jokes, your authenticity behind that script will make the difference on if people will listen to you. And I think Kevin Hart really does a good job of this, because he gets his personality in the film. You know, he's reading that script, but he gets his personality behind the script that he's reading. If you can tell jokes and be in high spirit when speaking even about the most emotional times, make people laugh, it will make them listen. People love laughing, it brings people together, and you are more inclined to listen and stick around. Becoming a better listener will greatly improve not only your listening, but your speaking. Speaking and listening is a skill. Being able to hear what they are saying takes no effort, but listening is a skill because of the attention that is needed. Being able to listen and not butt in when the other person is talking can lead you to asking better questions, actually learning more about the other person. You can learn from their body language, how they say things, the emotion, what their mental state is like. You learn from what they're saying and how they're acting, and you can take that into times when you're actually speaking. I have developed something called shadow talking, and I got this from a book that I've read called Psycho-Cybernetics by Max O'Malt. And I use it's you listen to a podcast or someone who's reading some text, and you try and follow along as closely as possible to copy what they are saying, repeat what they're saying, and it allows me to speak more fluently, so the words would roll off my tongue better and become faster and improve my vocabulary. Yeah, I can't even say that, so you know. But most importantly, for me, it helped me stop stuttering and speak more clearly. One way you can become more conscious of how you talk is recording yourself and listening back to it. I feel like making these videos, and now I've started to make two videos a week, I feel like I'm getting a lot better, a lot faster. I talk a lot faster, I'm more fluent, the words roll off my tongue. I'm learning new words and new ways to express myself and how I'm feeling. I struggled with a long time with stuttering from the amount of anxiety that I'd get through my body when coming in contact with strangers and just talking in general. I'd overthink and get really anxious about what I'm going to say, how I'm going to mess up. I'd anticipate messing up, and it was just because I'm not used to listening to my own voice. It was the self-criticism within me telling me, no, you're not good enough and you can't speak, all that sort of stuff. And I ended up not saying something at all. And I used to, but now I talk more, I'm getting used to the sound of my own voice, and it sounds pretty weird, but I'm less critical now than what I was, like, say, a year ago, even like 6 months ago. I used to work in my old job, I used to drive a truck for 12 hours, and during them 12 hours there would be some shifts where I wouldn't talk at all. I wouldn't have any communication with any human being. I wouldn't talk for 12 hours, and I didn't realise how damaging that was for how I spoke. Like, when I was going to speak, it put me in that situation where I wasn't used to speaking, so my mind would just be like, I'm gonna fuck up here, and then I would just stutter like fuck, and everything I said just came out completely wrong. And yeah, sometimes I spoke another language that no one could understand. I knew what I wanted to say, but it just wouldn't come out, and it was from the lack of communication and talking that I did with other humans. There will be times where you don't want to talk, just like times you don't want to go to the gym. You can't rely on that motivation to do the things that you want to improve on. If I relied on motivation to talk or go to the gym, I would still be in that situation I was a year ago or 2 years ago. Discipline and consistency will get you to where you want to go. There will be times where you are down. There will be times where you've had 2 hours sleep and don't want to speak, don't want to go to the gym. But by making the conscious effort of keep pushing on and doing the things that need to be done when you don't feel like doing it, will be the difference on whether you grow or stay exactly where you are. And that should be a scary thought. Just like you can train in the gym, you can train your voice to be more powerful. Training to say things in a way to change people's lives, to be more interesting, to keep people interested in listening to your stories. I am learning and trying to train my voice so I can become more influential, to help people. You won't listen to me if I talk in a voice like this and I say, yeah, and you know. Another way you can train your voice is joining my Discord. We can have daily chats, general chats, or we can go into more depth, more emotional conversations with no judgment, and it's free of charge. Daily conversations will improve you in some sort of way. If that's how you want to start things, I'm happy to have conversations with you. We are better together rather than alone. Do what needs to be done, not what you feel like doing. Stay sexy.